I know I'm late for this one, my bad, I'm so sorry, roll the intro, just go, 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 go. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your BFF Snowy RA663 here right now, and two brilliant shows just wrapped up their first seasons, both with 8 total episodes. These shows are also productions that I've been following for years, ever since their announcement. Both shows also have confirmed season 2s in the works, hopefully going to span multiple seasons and start new great franchises, Hazbin Hotel and Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Probably the most polar opposite shows you could think of. One is an adult animated comedy drama musical about demons in hell, while the other is a young adult fantasy adventure about Greek gods and prophecies. Other than the similarities I mentioned in the beginning, these shows are also super important to me personally. Percy Jackson books were my entire childhood, while Hazbin Hotel and its spin-off, Hell the Boss, brought me into my adulthood and introduced me to so many new communities. I am so happy that both of these shows exist, and I'm delighted to talk about them with you. I'll start with Percy Jackson since it started releasing first. If you want to only see the Hazbin review, there are chapters available for you to scroll to, or you can just skip to this timestamp. Also, this video will contain spoilers for both these shows, but that's kind of obvious. Ready? Let's jump right in then. So, Percy Jackson was incredible, right? One thing I want to start out right away with is the casting. Every actor and actress did a phenomenal job in their roles, bringing the characters from the book right to life, especially the child actors. For being so young, they acted so damn good. The standout for me personally was Grover, who was one of my favorite characters in the books. Arian portrayed him so well, and his performance made me laugh so many times.
Oh golly, the road's getting bumpy cause I got me some friends who just can't get along. Oh dear, when the team's getting grumpy.
What are you doing?
Thank God we have a faithful adaptation of this character finally on the screen. Alright, no more beating around the bush. Yes, the series did some race swaps with the characters. Annabeth and Grover in the books were white. Now they're not. Boo frickin' who. Not gonna lie, I've seen so many people online trash talking these children before the show even premiered. They claim to be fans of the book, wanting a more accurate portrayal. So, number 1, get a fucking life. Number 2, the author himself had a hand in the casting, so clearly he chose these actors for a reason. Number 3, the actors did a fantastic job anyway, so I don't know what you're whining about. Number 4, their race isn't that important anyway, so who cares? Number 5, get a fucking life. While the show was much more faithful to the books than the garbage movies, there are no Percy Jackson movies in Ba Sing Se. There were quite a few story and plot changes. Some I think offered a better alternative, while others weren't as interesting as the books. Let me explain. I really liked Percy's talk with Sally about his father in the show, even better than in the books. I felt more real, had some bits of comedy, and made for a much more memorable scene overall. Same thing with the scene of Sally and Poseidon, which wasn't even in the books. Pretty much everything involving Sally was improved upon in the show. Other parts I thought were weaker than the books. The biggest offender of this was the Lotus Casino, which felt very lackluster and not very memorable in this adaptation. The show decided to make the trio a little smarter than in the books, where basically every trap is avoided by them. They already know about the dangers of the casino, they know about the evil waterbeds, they know about who Auntie M is, and they even figure out who Echidna is. While I liked that the characters weren't just thrown into constant danger and were a little more competent, I think that made the story feel a little less dangerous. Percy and Annabeth both try to sacrifice themselves in nearly every episode, and when they constantly know exactly what the danger is and continue to try to put themselves in harm's way just to save the others over and over and over again, it feels a little less impactful. In all honesty, that's my only nitpick of the series. Everything else about it was just downright spectacular. The CGI was extremely impressive for one. Every monster looked fantastic, and the set pieces were creative and lively. There may have only been a few shots that I knew were just a green screen, such as the underwater scenes, but everything else held up extremely well. Besides the main trio, the rest of the acting was on point. I think besides Grover, my favorite performance had to be Ares. Ares is one of my favorites from the books, and seeing this more humorous take on him kept me engaged. His fight scene with Percy in the end was probably one of the best scenes in the entire show. It really felt like the book was coming alive right there. I also have to give a special shout out to Luke in this adaptation. While the book's version of his portrayal was a lot less explosive, I don't think I've ever been so blown away by a twist that I already knew was coming. The chilling way the line,
I didn't think you'd give him to Grover to wear,
was delivered. I seriously had my jaw on the floor, even though I knew he was the villain all along. Excellent. And extra bonus points for still killing off Gabe in the post-credit scene. Percy Jackson did a fantastic job setting the stage for the rest of the series. While Disney has approved a season 2, I can only hope it does better than season 1, leading to the next 3 books getting greenlit as well. Who knows? Maybe this might spawn a brand new franchise. This was a great show for fantasy fans of all ages. Whether you've read the books or not, give it a watch. Solid 9 out of 10. And here's a mini ranking of all the episodes as well, because why not? Number 8 is episode 6, We Take a Zebra to Vegas. For not only not having them ride a damn zebra, but for toning down down the impact of the Lotus Casino and making it the least impressive location of the story. The only episode I would call mediocre. Number 7, episode 4, I Plunged to My Death. Excellent episode, but brought down by how short it is. Cliffhanger also kind of gets forgotten by the next episode. Number 6, episode 3, we visit the Garden Gnome Emporium. Nothing really wrong with this episode, just found the other ones a little better than this. Number 5, episode 1, I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Great way to set up the story in an interesting and engaging way. Also has Sally Jackson, which makes it a win in my book. Number 4, episode 7, we find out the truth, sort of. Letting us see the underworld in Hades, also being the only episode to really have a cold open, this one feels darker and more intense than just about all the others, letting us really feel some sense of danger. Number 3, episode 2, I become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom. The only real episode set entirely in Camp Half-Blood. We meet so many iconic characters and get formally welcomed to the series. They had a scene of Percy talking to his mom by giving her an offering, and that makes me cry. Number 2, episode 5, A God Buys Us Cheeseburgers. Ares is always top tier. He's so hilarious to watch, and I love Grover outsmarting him during their scenes. Replacing the spiders in the Tunnel of Love for the Golden Chair was a great decision, and it led to a super emotional scene. Number 1, episode 8, The Prophecy Comes True. Ares is always top tier. Ares fight scene, Luke betrayal, Percy and Sally reunite, teasers for Sea of Monsters, and now me tearing up when Annabeth gave Percy her necklace. Seriously, I love those two together. Overall, Percy Jackson season 1 is amazing, and I can't wait to see my favorite book in the series get adapted next. Now moving on to Hazbin Hotel. Much like Percy Jackson with its bizarre backlash on race swaps, Hazbin had plenty of pointless controversies arise, mainly from its humor and art style. Both controversies are also dumb and don't matter, but there, I talked about it. Moving on. Right away, I want to say how crazy it is how far this show has come. Starting from just some side characters in a webcomic made by a single creator to a fully fledged show released on Prime is no small feat. I'm so proud of Vivian Madrano and how far she's gotten. So I want to talk about the new actors first. The pilot to the show was released 4 years ago on YouTube and featured very different voice actors and different designs. No one really complained about the designs changing for the show, but many of the actors replaced caused some people to go crazy. Well, now that the whole show is out, I can confidently say that you can barely tell a difference with most of them. The only clear differences of the voices are Keith David as Husk and Brandon Rogers as Katie Killjoy. I think Husk is easily one of my favorite characters, and I think changing his actor was a great choice. Where can you go wrong with Keith David? Katie Killjoy, on the other hand, didn't work for me. Brandon Rogers' female voice for her was the same as every other female voice he does, and I think Faye Mata did much better in the pilot than Brandon did. Fortunately, Katie has barely a minute of screen time, so it didn't really matter. Now, I'm not one to enjoy a ton of sex jokes, and I still don't. So why do I like a show that's main source of humor is a constant string of sex jokes and swearing? Simple, they come from likable characters, mostly, and they have a purpose in the story. Take the character of Angel Dust, an extremely feminine gay man who speaks in nothing but a string of innuendos. However, it's very clear that this is merely a persona he puts on due to his trauma, and the episode Masquerade highlights that so well. There is a way to make these jokes work, and Hazbin does a good job at this. While I didn't find most of the show laugh out loud funny, there were quite a few moments that got me rolling.
Take that, depression!
I can't go much farther without talking about the music in the show. It's so damn good. Each episode has 2 songs, with stellar vocal performances and amazing animation to go along with it. Even the weakest song on the show is like 10 times better than the best song in Wish, which is one of the saddest things I've ever had to say. And before I go too far, here's a really quick song ranking for you. Number 16, Welcome to Heaven. Short, pointless, and can St. Peter stop moaning, please? 15, Whatever It Takes. Also pointless, way too long, and Baggy's vocals get drowned out by the instrumentals. 14, It Starts With Sorry. Pretty sure this was written just to be a joke and not meant to be taken seriously. 13, Happy Day in Hell. Nice beat and introduces us to the show's music. A few animation glitches, but mostly here just because the others are better. 12, Ready For This. Epic final part of the song that really wants you to get ready to fight. Not a fan of how much it changes the tune and pace, leading the whole song to feeling like a roller coaster. 11, More Than Anything Reprise. Adorable and wholesome, but needed to be hella longer. It's less than a minute. 10, You Didn't Know. Another good song, but also suffers from too many different tune and pace changes. Better than Ready For This because most of the song slaps instead of a very clear best and worst part. 9, Stayed Gone. Banger song with some fantastically creative visuals, which was more sung instead of spoken. 8, Hell Is Forever. One of the best villain songs I've heard in a while. A little ridiculous, but in a good way. 7, More Than Anything. Adorable father-daughter duet with stunning animation and performances. Not me crying over here. 6, Hell's Greatest Dad. Had me laughing and dancing the entire time. Mimsy ending it wasn't needed, but it doesn't ruin the song. Plus, I always love electro swing. 5, Respectless. It took one song to make me fall in love with Velvet. She served that day. Also, I love Zestial's line in the song too. 4, finale. Every bit of the song was top tier, changing pace and tune multiple times. Really feels like a final song, but leaving the story open to continue. 3. Out for Love, a complete bop. Carmilla teaching Vaggie to fight for her love and that delightful Spanish guitar backing was a perfect choice. 2. Poison. Visuals that make me horrified in the best way, and the ending seriously made me cry. The entire piece is a banger. I listened to this on loop for so long. Stellar performance from Blake Roman here. Number 1, Loser Baby. A great yet unorthodox way for Husk to cheer Angel up and begin their romance. How do you not jump on the ship train after this? So with the songs out of the way, let me quickly discuss one of my major issues with the show, and that's the writing. I want to make it clear that I don't think the writing is bad. It's just some of the pacing is off, and the overabundance of characters crammed into 8 episodes, maxing out at 25 minutes, severely hindered it from becoming something truly great. Don't get me wrong, I loved every minute of the show, but it really needed more time to breathe. This isn't exactly Viv's fault, probably instead A24 for limiting the amount of runtime allowed. This left many characters underdeveloped, relationships less explored, and an extremely fast pace that made it easy to miss important information. Other scenes tend to go on forever but have no real point to them. Take episode 3, where we have extremely long and pointless song, but then the fight between Charlie and Vaggie lasts around 3 seconds and also comes out of nowhere. I think one other issue with the show is that the pilot still appears to be canon. Minus the voice actors and styles, everything that occurs in the pilot still works with the official show, but they don't bother to re-explain much of what happened in the pilot in the official show, and the pilot's on YouTube. So if somebody new came in to watch the series that was available on Amazon Prime, they wouldn't have any idea who, like, Alistair is, or even little things like why Husk and Nifty are at the hotel in the first place. Enough negative talk, because that's really all the bad things I have to say. Hazbin still succeeded in creating such an interesting world, likable characters, a banger soundtrack, and most importantly, a beacon of inspiration for any other creator out there hoping to get their indie project off the ground. Hazbin made me tear up and cry multiple times, especially during the 4th episode and the final one. It also made me laugh out loud. This was a delight to watch with friends. Hazbin Hotel is a fun series. Not for everyone, but worth it in the end to explore a new interesting world. A nice 8 out of 10, and a mini ranking of the episodes to finish us off.
Oh, yes!
Thank you, Angel. Moving on. Number 8 is episode 1, Overture. Fun start, but brought down by Adam's complete unlikability and not much happening in the rest of the episode to impact anything else. 7, episode 3, Scrambled Eggs. Really good starting out, but severely brought down by the long-ass song and the pointless fight between Vaggie and Charlie that had no reason to be there. Number 6, episode 2, Radio Killed the Video Star. I do like me more info on the 3 Vs, as well as Sir Pentious being adorable goof. Just falls short due to everything else being better. Number 5, episode 7, Hello Rosie. Clearly the lead-up episode to the finale, as much of it is just build up. Still fun, and I adore Rosie as a character. Also, this joke made me howl.
Come now, Alistair. She's much too young for you. Oh, I'm just kidding. I know you're an ace in the hole.
A what now?
Number 4, episode 6, Welcome to Heaven. Vaggie's reveal was expected, but still shocking. I loved getting a look at the other side here, as well as how much lore we were given. Even more points for Angel sticking up for his friends and the hilarious jokes from Sir Pentious. Number 3, episode 5, Dad Beat Dad. Lucifer is one of my favorite characters, and I enjoyed his beef with Alistair. Mimsy was a fun addition, and how about some adorable father-daughter moments? Number 2, episode 4, Masquerade. Made me bawl my eyes out and feel so depressed, yet ending on one of the most hopeful moments in the whole series. This episode takes a deep dive into Angel's character and really makes you feel for him. Some of the porn scenes were a bit over the top outside of the Poison song though. Number 1, episode 8, The Show Must Go On. Fantastic finale, consisting of an epic battle, heroic sacrifices, cliffhangers, and crumbs for future seasons, as well as the happiest feeling as Charlie embraces her new family. Can't wait for the 2nd season. Now that we're all done with that, I need to start packing. I'll be moving real soon, so say your goodbyes to the studio. It's done well, but I've got other places to go. Oh, and don't worry about that box. I'll take care of it. Thanks so much for watching my video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a fun comment. I try to respond to as many as I can. With all that said and done, I'll see you in the next one, and remember, act selfless.
I'm done running from monsters.
Don't steal.
You and Ares managed to steal the bolt, trick me into bringing it right down and giving it to you. But it's wrong, and I won't do it.
And stick it to the man.
How afraid of you do you think they'll be when your dad shows up looking to put you back in your place?
Bye.